Yes, sir.
I saw Bill in person any number of times. I don't know. I can't even comment.
Lucky you.
Was he as rough as he appeared to be?
Rough?
I don't know.
Gruff?
Maybe that's not the right word.
Serious?
Yeah.
He was serious. He knew exactly what he wanted. It was his music, you know. But gruff or mean, no. But he could be mean. I'll put a parentheses there. He could be mean if he had to be, if you were not doing your job. Otherwise, everything was cool, man. But he looked mean because he was very serious about the business that he was in and doing his absolute best for the people. I hope that answers your question. Yes, sir.
You mentioned Ralph Lewis?
Yes, sir.
And was he related to Wayne?
No, they're not related as far as I know.
Okay.
He came before Wayne,
okay,
and worked with Bill a couple of years in 1970, from 74 to 76, and recorded an album with Bill called Weary Traveler. It was on that album with Bill. Ralph Lewis. Recently passed away. Great guy. His nickname was Wolfie, because he had a lot of extraneous hair, but a really cool guy and a really great guitar player, Ralph Lewis. Did I ever play the bell cove with Bill? No, I kind of avoided it, actually. It was on my day off, and he would go to a club in nearby Nashville, a place called Hendersonville. There was a bar there. I'll call it a club and dignify it. And a lot of guys, there was a house band there, and they enjoyed backing Bill up, and he would come to the Bell Cove. After he went to church on Wednesday night, he would go to the Bell Cove and they'd feed him there, free of charge, of course. And he'd get up and do a set, and the guys at the Bell Cove would back him up.
He has several neighborhood places, didn't he, that he jammed?
Yeah,
yeah,
really.
Excuse me for interrupting.
No, no. Yes, sir.
I see Frank Wakefield's tribute album up here to Bill Monroe. Did you play on that?
Yes, I did.
That is one of the best albums I've ever heard, and I kind of figured that.
Thank you.
You're singing. I noticed it a little bit on there, but I didn't know which songs.
Yeah, there's two or three that they let me sing on. Yes, sir.
That's an excellent album.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
Good old Wake Frankfield.
Yeah. Back and talkwards.
Backy talkwards.
Yeah, Frank, had the pleasure of meeting Frank, and he asked me to record that tribute album with him, and it was an honor, because I loved his music from the 60s on whenever I first heard him. Yeah.
Do a lot of songs that are great, like That's All Right. Did you sing on that one?
That was Tom Minty, the guy that owns the record label. Yeah, he did a great job on that.
Fantastic
Yeah,
song.
man. He did a great. Yes, sir. Well, it's a Martin D28. That's what it is originally. I wanted a little bit more volume. It was made in 1962. But I wasn't quite satisfied, so I took it to a luthier named Bob White, who lives near Athens, Ohio, and he very carefully shaved the inside braces of the guitar, and that helped give it a lot more volume. So it's sort of an equivalent to a 50s Martin now. He also put the decoration that you see on the edges of the fingerboard here on there, and he did this fancy inlay work on the headstock, which is the same pattern that you'll see on an old D45 that Martin used to make. He tried to duplicate that. And I've also made a few modifications with like the end pins. I've used fossilized ivory, which if you play guitar, you need to get some, because they will improve the sound and tone of your guitar. You'll be amazed. They're expensive, but if you really want to have a boomer, you need some fossilized ivory pins back here, these little bitty pins. Yes, sir.
How did you learn guitar? Did you take formal lessons?
No, I wanted to learn so bad I was crazy. Totally crazy. Went absolutely bonkers for day after day after day with a chart of guitar chords. Just you do it. If you're crazy, you do it. I'm sorry, what?
Probably the best way.
Well, I don't know. It's not the easiest way. I don't think if you have a teacher, a good teacher, you can really learn a lot. But if you're teaching yourself, you've got to dig in there and really get after it and do it every day. Work at it. Yes, sir.
Do you remember by any chance what that first LP you bought was? Was it Knee Creek Bluegrass?
Bluegrass Ramble.
Bluegrass Ramble.
I'll never forget it.
Of course you won't. That's why I was curious which one it was.
Twin fiddles. I'd never heard that before, and I thought, what is that? What kind of what idea? How did he come up with that idea? You know.
We got a little radio program up here that uses that same name. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
You know, I have a radio show called the Bluegrass Ramble. I've called it that since 1959 in its first incarnation. And I thought I had made that up. And all of a sudden I come across this album, Bluegrass Ramble, and the irony is that when Bill Monroe went to Decca Records, the very first record he made was Bluegrass Ramble. I really didn't steal it. It was like I also invented the telephone, you know.
That was 1950. I thought for sure you knew that.
Yeah, just a few years after he recorded it. Yeah,
it was in there.
There's two more Bluegrass Rambles on the air across the country, but I've been using it since 1973. So, well, actually 1959.
I started using it in the 1970s for the radio program that I started.
You're the one that stole that for Columbus, Ohio.
On the same stage. The Bluegrass Ramble men, yes, sir.
Now they call the IBMA convention, they roam all around the city to various spots where the bluegrass bands are playing, and they call that the Bluegrass Ramble now. So, so they've stolen it again.
Yeah.
Would you
we need to get that
song?
copyrighted, sure.
Big question is, do you still have that album?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I have it too, as a matter of fact.
Would not part with it. Thought about selling my albums not too long ago, but that's one of the ones I will never sell. No, it'll be buried with me, I think. Or cremated with me, I don't know.
But you were on WOSU then in Columbus.
Yeah.
And they still use that name, so.
It started out, Bill, as Bluegrass Country.
Oh, okay.
And there was a band in Columbus they called themselves the Bluegrass Country. So I had to change it to something real fast. What did I think of? Bluegrass Ramble.
Yes.
So there were two Bluegrass Rambles going on, or there are two of them.
Three.
One in the east. Oh, where's the other one?
West Coast, yeah.
Oh, far out. All across the country. Have it covered, haven't we? Yes, sir.
Do you have time to do one of the songs you've written?
Sure. Be glad to. Well, let's see. This is one that I used to sing with Bill, and wrote it on the way home. I've traveled round from state to state, to other lands I've been. And those are the words from a song that Bill recorded in the 40s called Heavy Traffic Ahead.
Oh, yeah.
I used the same lyrics there. I've traveled round from state to state, to other lands I've been. But there's no place in this old world like the Buckeye State, my friend, where peaceful farmland stretches out as far as the eye can see. From the hills in the south to the lake up north, it's home sweet home to me. Ohio, I'm heading home to you. The road to Columbus will carry me through the sweetest country in the land, that's where I long to go. 'Cause there's nowhere that can compare with Ohio.
That's on the album, by the way. That's on the album, and I'm playing it tomorrow night on the Bluegrass Ramble. Tom, tell us about your final days with Bill Monroe, either person to person or visiting him when he was ill, or...
Oh, it was so sad. It's hard to talk about it. He, like we were saying, he was a real trooper. And, but at one point he did have a stroke or shortly after playing the Opry one night. And Kentucky Waltz in the background.
I know. That's just awesome.
And they took him to a hospital, and then they took him, when they couldn't handle him there, they took him to another place, facility, and they arranged for us to come and see him. And I didn't realize how bad off he couldn't talk. He lost the ability to talk, understandably, and he lost the ability to walk. And it was really, really, really hard to be positive about it. And Ernie Sykes was with us, and he recalls Bill grabbing his hand and putting it on his chest to make contact, because he couldn't talk to Ernie. He wanted that to be understood, that he really liked Ernie.
Did you participate in the funeral?
No, I didn't want Bill Monroe to be dead. I couldn't. I wouldn't accept the fact that he was gone.
Well, you're keeping him alive now, that's for sure, with this reader and the bio that's coming out next year.
I realize now that everybody has to go, including Bill Monroe, and we will help to keep him alive as best we can by playing his music, and that he'll be around as long as we do that. Yes, sir. Thank you.